Logging flights, it sounds like paperwork, but really, it's your story as a pilot. Every flight you take, every lesson learned, every milestone reached, it all lives inside that little logbook. But here's the key question. What if you haven't kept up with logging your recent flights? Are you in violation of an FAA regulation? The answer, surprisingly, is no. You're not automatically breaking a rule if you forget to write down every flight you've made. The FAA doesn't require you to record every single trip around the pattern or every casual hop between airports. What they do require is that you log enough to prove specific things, the things that matter for certification, ratings, flight reviews, and currency. Think of it like a receipt drawer. You don't need to keep every single gas station receipt from every road trip, but you do need to keep the important ones, the ones you'll have to show later if someone asks how far you've gone or whether you paid for something big. In the same way, your logbook doesn't have to capture every small flight you've ever made. It just needs to clearly document the flights that count toward your certificates, ratings, or recent experience requirements. Let's visualize this. Picture your logbook as two distinct sections, one labeled Proof of Skill and the other Proof of Experience. The Proof of Skill section is where you record the hours that helped you earn something, like a private pilot certificate, instrument rating, or flight review. This section is like your academic transcript. It shows what training you completed, what maneuvers you mastered, and which instructors signed off your progress. The Proof of Experience section, on the other hand, is about keeping your privileges active, like your recent flight experience. These are the hours that prove you're current. For example, when you log your 3 takeoffs and landings to stay passenger current, or your instrument approaches to stay IFR current, those entries serve as your evidence that you meet the FAA's recent experience requirements. Now imagine you go flying for fun, a smooth afternoon hop with no instructor, no passengers, and no need to meet any specific requirement. That flight, while enjoyable, doesn't have to be logged. You can write it down if you want to remember it, but it's not a regulatory necessity. To cement this understanding, let's do a quick mental exercise, active recall style. Ask yourself, what are the only times the FAA requires you to log flights? The answer should come naturally now, when it's used to qualify for a certificate, a rating, a flight review, or to prove recent experience. Everything else? Optional. Think of your logbook as a passport of progress, not a diary. You don't stamp it every time you leave the house. Only when you cross a meaningful border. When you finish a dual cross-to-country flight with your instructor, that's a stamp. When you complete your 3 night landings to stay current, that's another. But when you just go up for some solo pattern work to relax, you're flying, but you're not legally required to stamp it. So no, if you've missed logging a few recent flights, you haven't broken a rule. But, and this is important, you should still make logging a habit. Not because the FAA demands it, but because your logbook tells the story of your growth. It's your professional timeline, your memory book, and your proof of progress all at once.